Ahoy fellow retroheads, welcome to my Batcave. I'm Dr. Bongo, and you might have heard me on the SID station as well as Retro Revival Radio, but today you're going to see me because we're going to have a short video and we're going to talk about the Commodore VIC-20. In 1980, the computer market was shifting from big metal terminals with built-in screens to small plastic machines that would hook up to your television set. The likes of Sinclair and Texas Instruments had already entered this new home computer market, and new products from the Far East were on the horizon. Commodore founder Jack Trammell had seen the success of the previous machine, the PET, and knew that although this industry was in its infancy, it would be profitable and hard fought. He famously said, "The Japanese are coming, so we will become the Japanese." With that, the VIC-20 was born. This new machine was small, light and affordable. It had colour graphics and sound and a real keyboard. It featured 5 kilobytes of memory, although only 3.5 kilobytes was available to the user, and it was powered by MOS Technology's infamous and low-cost 6502 processor. The VIC-20 was the first computer to sell 1 million units and was the forerunner to the record-breaking success that was the Commodore 64. But why was it called the VIC-20? Well, VIC was the name of its graphics chip, and 20 simply because it sounded friendly. But for me, the VIC-20 is a bit more personal. My parents bought one when I was about 3 years old, and that's what I had until the late 80s, when I upgraded to a Commodore 64 like most people did. It taught me how computers work, and it taught me basic programming, and that was great. But like all kids, what I really cared about was the games. It makes a great pillow too. Let's take a look at some games, and the first is Choplifter. Most of you will have played Choplifter, but if you haven't, it's save 'em up. You command a lone helicopter charged with the task of flying out past no man's land into enemy territory and rescuing the prisoners of war. You must be part of a really terrible army as everyone seems to have been captured, and to make matters worse, the enemy has tanks, planes and flying bombs at its disposal. You have to ferry 16 POWs at a time back to your base, and every time you do, the game gets a little harder. Choplifter has great graphics and sound, smooth scrolling, and had me well and truly hooked from the minute I saw it all those years ago. Next up is Critters, which has nothing to do with the 80s film series. But here's what the inlay had to say. The year is 1994 and food is scarce. By some weird freak of nature, all the birds have mutated into 6-foot vultures. Your job as a farmer is to guard your rare crop of cherries against the birds by blasting them out of the sky as they swoop down at you. Can you imagine if 1994 had been like that?
Get away from my cherries, you...
Yeah, anyway. This may sound primitive, but the game had one odd feature for its time. You could fire diagonally. Think about that for a moment. Blitz. A game where the objective is to destroy skyscrapers. Pretty controversial nowadays, but not then. You do this in order to be able to land. The controls are simple, just the spacebar to drop bombs, but the gameplay is as addictive as it is infuriating. Clear the buildings and you get to land safely. If not, this happens. Here is a very early Imagine game, Wacky Waiters. You play the part of said waiter in what is probably the most dangerous restaurant in the known universe. Your task is to cross the perilous lift shafts to wait on the tables either side of the screen, but don't take too long or the boss will be after you. You find yourself trapped in a series of mazes chased by giant killer mosquitoes. But that's happened to us all, right? Yeah. To escape, you must find the key and get to the exit. You have a limited number of bug spray, but beware as those mosquitoes are quick. This game is as fiendishly difficult as it is incredibly addictive. And the last game I have to show you is Golf. Golf on the VIC-20 showed how good home conversions of arcade games could be. It was colourful, fast and played like the original. All 4 levels are there. The Space Invaders level, the laser level, the Time Warp, and finally the showdown with the mothership. An incredible game that really grabbed me back then. I'm Dr. Bongo, and I hope you've enjoyed my trip down memory lane. There's plenty of other games that could have featured here, but here's just a few that stood out to me back in the day. I hope maybe you've learnt something from the video, or it's inspired you to try a VIC-20, or if you own one, dig it out and put some games on. If you like the video, let me know, and perhaps I'll take another trip down memory lane and look at a different system. Keep it retro, cheers.